Hello and welcome to The Art of Self-Care, Tools for Thriving in the Modern World. My name is Marla Wall and this is my colleague,
Stacy Stone.
And we're here to share with you our latest thoughts and what's going on in our own teaching world, in our own practice. This issue of self-care and what does that mean in the modern world? One of the things that's been coming up and Stacy and I have been discussing is something we're not seeing a lot in the news. And this is, how can we boost our immune system? How can we protect ourselves? What can we be doing besides staying home, besides wearing a mask, besides being in a bubble in this time where a virus is of primary concern to the entire globe? What can we be doing besides those things that we're hearing on the news, that we're hearing from our governments, to protect ourselves? Because clearly we're hearing that there are some people who recover from this, and there are a lot of people who don't, but there are a lot of people who do. What are the differences between these cultures of people? And I think, given that Stacy and I are in the health profession of fitness and movement, and of course we're both fascinated with nutrition and our eating health, we know from firsthand experience that these components, are huge in our overall health, our immune systems, our defense systems from these viruses, so that if you were to get it, you might be sick for a while, but you will recover. What are your thoughts on that, Stacy?
I think you are onto something. That's, one reason that I got into this industry and continue to stay in this is sometimes from a selfish perspective. I feel so very lucky that I get to invest my time and energy into one, studying and learning about these self-care practices, these tools that help create a healthy environment within the body, whether that's the physical body through just simply movement, whether it's the mental body and learning how to address stress in your life, and how we also treat our internal body with the things that we put into ourselves. So for, just a little over 20 years now, I've had the opportunity to spend time studying these things that not only help me, but I then also get to share this information with clients. And there's been so many times over the years that I've had clients come to me, and my general client range of ages is generally 50, 55 and above. And I think a lot of that is because at this age group, at this point in their lives, they've come to a point where what they were doing in the past is not working and getting them the results. And they realize that it's going to take some fundamental shifts and dedication to their health and self-care to improve. What I mean by that is figuring out the correct exercise program for them. Two, a major piece to that is nutrition. And that's something I know you and I both have schooling on. It's not where our passion lies, but we have the education and knowledge to teach it. And also the stress reduction. So if I could even boil it down to those three simple things right now, your ability to monitor and address stress in your life, the ability to have a healthy diet, a balanced diet, what that means for you and learning about that, but also having a well-approached, a balanced approach to movement. So in some of these clients I'm speaking of, I've seen how they've drastically changed their health by addressing those three components. But it's taken years. In the past, they may have used a yo-yo diet, something that's very extreme, or they may have been a yo-yo dieter using an extreme diet to get a specific result. Well, they get to that place, and unfortunately, a lot of times what happens is they're creating a stressful situation in their body because they are cutting calories too quickly, or it's too drastic and ends up increasing stress in their life. And then they get sick. And then that just blows everything out the window. The key thing that I see with people is they're addressing these things in a balanced way. Their sickness goes down. They're not getting that cold. They always get, every winter I get a cold. Does it have to be that way? No,
Right.
It doesn't.
Well, and there's getting a cold and there's getting a cold. There's like, I do think at times there's your body's natural desire for you to take a break or take a rest, and for a couple of days. And so
Yes.
you listen to your body, you lay low for a couple of days, you decide, you know what, I'm going to cut down my activities, which we've all been doing a lot of lately, but
Mm-hmm.
in a time where we were more busy. And then after a few days, you've given your body some quiet time, and you start to come back,
Well,
as opposed to being actually knocked out for months from this
yeah.
niggling cold that doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm. That, or, you see people take the drugs so they can go back to work and just work through it, while they're not actually giving their body the rest that it needs. And
Exactly.
so I feel that right now, with COVID as a very, very real part of our lives moving forward, it's the best opportunity, even more so than in the past, to start really putting more focus on our self-care routines and learning to keep ourselves balanced, so that the internal environment is as healthy as possible. So no matter what kinds of germs, bacteria, viruses, bugs come
Mm-hmm.
into contact with you,
Mm-hmm.
you have a stronger immune system to fight it back. But when we don't exercise at all, maybe
Mm-hmm.
we walk our dog, but your dog sniffs everywhere. You're not getting your cardiovascular with dog
Yeah.
walks. I'm
It's
sorry,
stop and
y'all.
start, stop and start, stop
That,
and start.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
have a dog, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that, and if you're eating a lot of processed foods, you're not eating fruits and vegetables, you're not eating high quality foods,
Mm-hmm.
and your stress is through the roof. How do you know that? Well, if you can't sleep, that's a good cue. If you
Mm-hmm.
just feel like you can't handle anymore, these are all the things that we need to address to create a healthful situation within the body, so that you have the resources to fight back. And so I
Yeah.
think when you're getting that cold that just lingers and lingers, you can't fight it off. It's like there's already a fire going, and then you're throwing more fuel on it. So
Yeah.
you got
I
to
think
learn to
that
remove
this
the
really
fuel.
plays into our general topic for our discussions for this podcast, because what it's making me think of is almost like in a relationship, like a marriage or a family or anything. If you're not contributing, you're taking.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this idea that we're living in a world now where there's this threat of a virus, um, are we to sit at home and just kind of hide under the covers and then just cross our fingers and hope and pray that we don't get the virus?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Or do we actually contribute to our health and actually invest and say, you know what? If all I'm eating is junk, I'm not boosting my body's immunity, my defenses, my
mm-hmm,
body's ability to fight something if it comes at me. So rather than hide in a cave,
mm-hmm.
how about I become a little bit proactive and I actually contribute to this organism that is my body, and I contribute to the health of it. I build it up. I make myself a little bit strong. Similarly, if you decide, you know what, I don't really exercise, I just kind of sit on the couch. Well, there's a deterioration that's going to happen if you don't exercise at all. So you're not contributing to your growth, your strength, your
Mm-hmm.
body's ability to be strong and vital. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
not contributing, then you're actually deteriorating. So
Yeah.
I tell people sometimes if they want to do Pilates, I also teach Pilates besides Eldoa. Pilates as a way to restructure and strengthen your body, it's a great system. But if you only come to Pilates once a week, or you only do these things once a week, it's often just enough to
Mm-hmm.
then kind of go back to start. So there's
Yeah.
kind of no progression. But if you come twice a week, you progress and you recline, but then you progress more and there's a little
Mm-hmm.
recline. But so there's actual growth by coming twice a week. It's exponential. And then
Mm-hmm.
add to that, if you were to come 3 times a week, then you're going to start to see a lot of change in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're
Mm-hmm.
really on a growth path. If you come once a week, it's like a maintenance path.
Mm-hmm.
If you come 0 times a week, it's like a deterioration path.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Definitely.
using that as an example, whether it's going for your brisk, long walk. Another
Mm-hmm.
thing I've learned is that as walkers, we're designed to be perpetual motion walking machines, but that's only if we walk in a continuous path and we're holding nothing in our arms. That
Mm-hmm.
our arms are moving, our legs are moving in a rhythm, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like if you're doing a good hike, a nice
Mm-hmm.
gentle hike where you get a rhythm going and your arms are able to move. But
Mm-hmm.
if we're in the mall or we're just taking our dog and they're going to sniff, and then if we start and stop, we never get the perpetual motion machine going, and we don't have that real walking benefit.
Yeah, yeah, that
So I
makes
think
sense.
it's an interesting subject to think, am I contributing or am I deteriorating?
And
So
yeah, that's a good way to put it. Am I contributing or am I deteriorating? And in those realms of what is my stress, what are my stress levels like? How am I addressing that? What is my nutrition like? What am I doing to contribute to that? And what is the my physical exercise like? And
yeah.
I think one key thing one word you said that's huge that I don't feel like we're really taught enough of, is we have to be proactive about this. I'll speak to being an American because I live here and you get the benefit of being Canadian, but I don't feel that that's something that's taught here. At least it's got to be, from an early age. I had the benefit of having that with my parents, of how to eat healthy, exercising regularly, and, being aware of stress levels. But most people don't have that, and we react to our health. It's like, oh, I've got this issue and it's bothering me, so I've got knee pain, then I'll go to a doctor, he'll give me a shot, he'll take it away. But ultimately I'll probably have to have knee surgery, right? That's what I tend to see the cycle of thought go, versus, ooh, I've got a little knee stuff. What if I do my stretching, if I go check it out, to speak to a physical therapist? What can I do to bring balance back into that system so that it doesn't have to just ravel up into this snowball of an issue that you need a drug or a surgery for? So being proactive and creating this space for health is the self-care tool I think we need to be implementing here.
Exactly. Well, we have that a little bit here in Canada as well, but we have a bit of a passivity in terms of, we have some healthcare here. We have, our government has a healthcare system, and then a lot of people at their work, they have extended benefits. So that can really produce a passive attitude, in the sense that I want to be able to just, someone should fix this for me. And on top of that, I shouldn't have to pay for it. So they there's a system of, if you go to a physiotherapist, it's paid for on your benefits from work. So rather than come to me where they would have to pay, they're going to go to the place where they don't have to pay. Now, they might only have 5 visits until their benefits run out. But I've heard a lot of people say, their arm could still be falling off, but the benefits run out and they won't come back.
Yeah.
So there is a passive component here as well in Canada that I encounter quite often.
I think it's looking outside the system in regards to that, and knowing, or understanding, at least this is what I've come to understand, is our healthcare system, our insurance system is not there to necessarily keep us healthy. They're there to get us out of sickness, which getting us out of sickness does not mean that we're necessarily healthy at that point. Just because you're not sick doesn't mean you have a healthy environment. And so that's where we must apply the tools to create this healthy environment. And it's up to us each individually to make this happen. No one can do it for us.
Absolutely.
And this is the challenge I think that we face as humans, is like somebody telling us, well, you have to do this. Well, I don't want to. Well, it's the quality of your life that really is coming into play. And not how you want next year to be, or how you want to be able to be in the face of this virus, but how do you want to feel 10, 20, 30 years from now? Because you're laying the foundation now for that.
Yes. Well, and then some people feel that that's such a daunting task. I can't just change, everything that I do. Well, you can do small things. You can start small. In fact, if you want to look at your diet and say, oh, I know my diet is crap, but I just have to eat on the go, or I just do what's easy, buy frozen food, or, go to the fast food, whatever. The one thing you can do to boost your immune system, if you're concerned about COVID, is cut out sugar. Sugar just flattens your immune system. I mean, there's like little sayings about it. 1 teaspoon of sugar drops your immune system, like basically nullifies it for like 2 hours. I've heard it said. I can't back that up. I don't know that that's true, but it is proven over how bad sugar, like refined, is for our immunity. So if sugar is a part of diet, it does become an addiction. There's a lot of information out about that. And so one very small, simple thing you could do is say, you know what? I'm going to cut my sugar in half. I'm going to not cut it back or cut it out as an experiment. And I've experimented with this a lot over the years. And if I cut, and I'm better at it now because I do it more regularly, and I've also cut them back quite a bit. But the first time I ever did that, I cut out caffeine, I cut out sugar, I cut out wheat, I did all of those things. First day I felt kind of okay, but then you can actually go through a bit of a detox. You can, gradually can be beneficial, and you might be surprised. Our brain becomes addicted to these things, and it's that in and of itself is interesting. Of course, resting, drinking water helps with that, and we're not qualified nutritionists, so I don't want to be telling people stuff that I'm not trained in. But cutting back sugar is one of the most simple, instant things you could do.
Well, maybe that's a reason to get our friend Karen Delmaestre on here, the nutrition expert and bounce back expert, to talk more about the sugar component. I think
that is an excellent idea. That is an excellent idea. We should see if we can do that in the next few weeks.
Yes.
Check in with her schedule. Let's get Karen on here talking about sugar. I would love that.
Yes. And so for today, just to kind of summarize this for you all, we just wanted to take this opportunity to say, if you haven't taken that one step yet to improve your health, and equally that lends itself to improving your immune system, do something, one thing a month, just one thing. So if it's cutting your sugar in half, or if you're like, I can cut it out completely, do some simple things. Start with that, and then say, okay, even if you're eating on the go and doing frozen foods, can you get more vegetables in? More vegetables, the fresher, the better. That could be next month. And then say, okay, address the movement. Can I move a little bit more? We do not want to attack this like, I'm going to do everything all today. It doesn't work that way. I've been in this industry for 20 years. Marla has too. So in 40 years, I can say that I've never seen it work for people when they're like, balls to the wall, I'm going to do it all. Like, January 1st, it'll work for about a month. But when we try to make everything happen all at once, it's too overwhelming, and we shy away from those things that are overwhelming. So I think it's a good opportunity to check in and just start seeing what's the one thing I can do in terms of nutrition, movement, and stress to start improving your health, the health of your immune system.
Yes. I have I know we're supposed to be signing off here. I just have one or two little thoughts. So I have this good friend named Pax, and he works at a fitness place called Restore Human, and they do outdoor, like their gym is actually like logs and big rocks, and they're climbing really natural structures and tossing balls back and forth, and their tagline is, at Restore Human, we're making humans harder to kill.
That's
so just in terms of COVID, it's like, you know what, if you want to make yourself harder to kill, then boost your immunity, get yourself a little bit fit. And another thing that I listened to, this doctor and scientist was talking about, if you actually want to extinct the human race, if you want to actually kill humans, the best thing you can do is make them immobile and overfeed them.
Wow.
Those two things.
Where did you see that?
It was a lecture. You know what? I'll try and dig it up so that we can put it in put the link below.
Wow.
It was this doctor who was talking about exactly what we're saying in terms of anyone can do it at any age. Start to exercise and build some muscle mass to build up your strength. And he's talking about exercising with seniors and how quickly they can actually change. And he said this, he was quoting another scientist, I think, actually, but that really stuck with me. If you want to kill a human or the human species, immobilize them and overfeed them.
Wow.
So in the opposite of that, my friend Pax has that company called Restore Human, making humans harder to kill. And in a sense, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about become a participant.
And improve your resiliency. Yeah, an active participant in your health. You have to, just like having a car, you have to put oil in it, you have to put gas in it, you have to do the work on it, or else it's going to continue to deteriorate.
Exactly.
And with the body, we can compensate a lot more. So it tends to keep us around longer when we run out of fluids. But like in your car, you run out of oil, you're not going to drive that car for too long after that.
It's so true.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's almost like we tend to treat our bodies in that way, and we can't. This is the one vehicle you have for the rest of your life, and how you're taking care of it now is going to determine how it functions for you down the road. So,
and the best motivation is starting to feel good, starting to feel more energy, starting to feel good. So,
yes.
yeah, we'd love to see some comments. If anyone is trying something, anyone has questions, please comment below. We'd love to hear from you.
And thank you for joining us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. All right, bye for now.
Bye.